Being an African American general in the Army, for me, was a very stressful and challenging experience. I perhaps imposed some of that on myself by considering it a zero defects environment, meaning that I could have no ethical failings and I had to be professional and on top of my game at all times. Every meeting, every conference, every encounter.
I was in a post exchange on Post, one of the stores, and an older African American gentleman walked up to me and he said, "Sir, may I please shake your hand?" And I said, "Sure, absolutely, you can shake my hand." And he said, "I just wanted to let you know I was in the Army for 25 years and I never even saw a black general, much less had the opportunity to meet one, and I just wanted to shake your hand." And I think that story describes how special it was to me to be an African American general, the obligation that I had to be the best that I could be and to set the standard.
My mom and dad were teachers. They encouraged my brother and me to do all that we could to excel at everything we did, and we tried. And they told us, if you study hard and work hard and you're never afraid of failure, then things will work out for you. As a young kid, at the age of 12, I watched a lot of military shows on television. One of them was a program called Men of Annapolis about life at the Naval Academy. And I watched it every week, and I was just infatuated by life on the yard, as they call the Naval Academy, by the high collars on the formal white uniform and everything. And I decided at the age of 12 that I wanted to be one of them. I wanted to go to the Naval Academy. No knowledge of the Navy, no knowledge of the Marine Corps, no knowledge of anything, but that's what I wanted to do.
Some of the experiences that propelled me to seek senior leadership in the Army were experiences I had earlier in my career when I met the very first African American female colonel in my entire life when I was a captain. She was an inspector general in my unit. She was passionate about what she did. She was professional. She was smart. And she was well respected by the commanding general and the rest of the command team and the soldiers because of how well she did her job. There were non-commissioned officers as well, but there were also African American black male officers who had risen through the ranks and comported themselves in ways that motivated me and made me say, I want to be like you. I want to do what you're doing. I want to take care of soldiers, and I want to add value to the Army, something that I care very much about.
When I came out of the Naval Academy, accepted my commission in the Marine Corps, one thing led to another, going through flight school, getting into an operational squadron, getting assignments that not only encouraged me to take leadership roles, but gave me the opportunity to get increasingly senior roles of leadership in the Marine Corps. The big thing was to do as my mom and dad had said, do my best, perform up to the best standards that I could, and people will recognize what you're doing. So that's what I did. I always tried to take care of my people everywhere I went and didn't worry about my own advancement. And as it worked out, I got increasing opportunities at leadership.
I was a brigadier general. I was the United States Defense Attaché to Beijing in China. And I was invited to a reception at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing. And at this reception, all of the defense attachés were there, and they would announce each country as they went through the receiving line to meet the Minister of Defense. And I remember clearly them saying, "The representative from the United States of America." And I stood there, and I think I stood a little straighter and walked a little taller, understanding the significance of being the representative of the United States of America to the People's Republic of China, but even more so, being an African American. And I think that moment I recognized was very special, and it represented the very best about my country. And I think that's the moment that stands out in my mind in a career of many wonderful moments.
A moment in my career that was very special to me and one I have never forgotten happened when I was down at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. In my Army Reserve Unit, we were doing our annual training period, and we were conducting basic training. I was walking with members of the command staff. I was a captain, they were majors, and a group of young privates were approaching us, a details, all females, and led by another private. And they saw us, and they knew they had to salute, but they looked at me, and of course I was the one they were going to salute to return it for protocol purposes, but they were so excited. You could see it, their body language, their faces. They beamed and they saluted, and then they walked on. And I thought, wow, that was a special moment for them, even more so than it was for me. But it also was an epiphany for me, saying they saw you, they wanted to see you, they needed to see you, and you need to stay. So there can be more moments like that where you can motivate other people to say, I belong here, I can do this. There's someone like her. I can rise to that level perhaps of experience and professionalism. And so I'm going to stay the course and do it.
I had commanders and mentors who recognized my hard work, recognized my abilities, and were willing to ensure that they were properly chronicled in my evaluation reports, and they shared their positive views of me, but via word of mouth with other senior leaders and other supervisors and managers. And as a result, I developed a reputation for being a competent, capable officer. And I think more than anything else, the fact that I had these supervisors who were willing to recognize my talents, regardless of my background or where I might have come from, that were the significant factor in the blessings and the success that I enjoyed in my career.
The experience of being a black general in the Marine Corps is that it's kind of lonely because there are not a lot of you, and you look around the room, you're frequently you're the only one like you in the room of general officers, but you get used to it, and you feel a sense of responsibility to the sailors, Marines, and other members of the military with whom you work, or the civilians with whom you work, and you're constantly trying to remind yourself that you're not there as a black man. You're there as a Marine, and you're there to take care of everybody else. So constantly need to remind yourself of what your duty is and what your job is.